I didn't think anything was going to be longer than your intro music, but then your intro to me was longer than your intro music. So I'm glad. I'm so happy to be here. That music felt like the beginning of the late 80s, early 90s, you know, either Miami, Los Angeles, panning, maybe the Pacific Coast Highway, and like all the cars.
We identified what we told our musician.
I wanted to call us Slick Tricky Bastards, is what I wanted to call us. So I thought having a kind of a curse word in there would like imply at least PG-13 and over. What we're going to experiment with, so I hope this is in the show by the time we get to Elkton, but I'll say it here just because I think it's fun to talk about, is we want to do some kind of version of magic therapy, aka for me, tricks that got me fired. And so, bull with a butthole?
Bull with a butthole?
Because when you say it fast, it sounds like you're saying bullet butthole, which sounds like basically a type of bourbon that tastes terrible.
All right, I guess I gotta go to GoDaddy and pick that one up now.
Whatever you imagine when you think of cruising might be both right and wrong, because cruising isn't one thing. I'm Bill from cruisehabit.com, and I'm a digital nomad working from ship and shore who loves sharing information to make sure people take the right cruises for them. Follow our adventures, enjoy tip videos, ship tours, and more in print and on our YouTube channel. Just visit cruisehabit.com/BSDN. We even host group cruises where you can cruise with us and get special treatment. Again, that's cruisehabit.com/BSDN or cruisehabit.com/bigsexy, whatever you'll remember.
What up, sexy world travelers? It's your
Safe
boy,
travel.
Big Sexy, here with a big thank you to our big, sexy world travelers. They're the folks who went over to bullwiththebutthole.com and subscribe to the podcast. I want to say a big shout out to Billy with cruisehabit.com, Lee Popsicle, Margaret White, Angel Quo, Bree, Chris Lowry, Galen Diggs, Jesus, Joshua Tar, Michael McKenna, Sebastian Robbins, and Smitty Scoop. If you would like to have your name read out before the show, just become a big, sexy world traveler and subscribe to the podcast. Swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join the fun. Safe travels.
Oh my, you sexy world travelers, do we have a treat for you straight from Las Vegas, Nevada? At least I think that's where he is right now. We've got one of the top 10 sketchiest magicians in the entire state of Nevada. At least that's what some reports have told me. We are going to talk about his recent life on a boat, his future life touring, and more. But let's take it away, Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. I am so excited for today. You can't imagine how wonderful I feel because we have a special guest, as my co-host, Judge Mentalist, has mentioned, world-renowned, international superstar.
Not true. Go, keep going.
Definitely international. Okay, so world traveled,
Sure.
international headliner. Accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, and cruise ship aficionado.
Sure.
At least
One ship. One particular ship. Yes.
One particular show. Podcaster extraordinaire. 1/3 of a trio of comedic, some would say geniuses, and they would be wrong.
That's right.
But definitely a podcast host. One of our podfathers.
Hold on. Are you talking about Jonathan and Brad and Matt?
No.
I like that we still haven't finished my intro and we're already going off topic. It's pretty great.
Yeah, right. No. I'm talking about Reddy and Penn and Matt.
Okay. He might not be a strip club guy, but clearly he's a throuple man.
without any further ado, give it up for Mr. Matt Donnelly.
Thank you for bringing me out here in front of your live studio audience. I really appreciate it. I didn't think anything was going to be longer than your intro music, but then your intro to me was longer than your intro music. So I'm glad. I'm so happy to be here.
We're just attacking it. Every beat a new level.
That music felt like the beginning of the late 80s, early 90s, like either Miami, Los Angeles, like panning maybe the Pacific Coast Highway, following the lines in a convertible or something driving by. And like all the
accurately identified what we told our musician friend Froyo to embody within that opening number.
Certainly, there's some kind of like definitely rated R thriller,
right?
That starts off with
old school Miami Vice.
Yes,
meets, Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah.
Of LA.
We're selling the rights to it as soon as Dexter has a grandchild that starts killing people. That's it.
Well, very happy to be here. How many episodes have you guys done? How deep are you into this podcast?
This will be episode 128.
Oh, good. Yeah,
we've been going for a while, and we initially thought that we would have you on in episode 100 because that has been in the world of podcasting Matt Donnelly's magic number. And then
okay, let me clear that up right there. I don't insist on being on episode 100. I always say I'll be your guest on episode 100 because so many people start a podcast and don't stick with it. And I don't want to be on a podcast that just flames out and no one listens to. So I always say I'll be your guest on guest 100 because most of the time that eliminates 90% of a podcast guesting because no one sticks with it. And I know how hard it is, and now you know how hard it is to stick with a podcast. It's
100%.
It's the job itself seems easy, and it kind of is, but the actual commitment of doing a podcast is super hard.
It is not easy. It is not easy to stay. And we do the stupid ass thing of actually releasing 2 episodes a week.
I do that too. Why is that stupid? What's going on? Did I miss a memo?
Well, yeah, you did, because it's a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of extra stress that is not needed in order to do this thing we call podcasting.
If you want to talk to who does more, how many episodes a week, if you want to talk to someone about complaining about podcasts, you're talking to the wrong person.
Well, fair, because I mean, you at one point in time, if I'm correct, you were actively involved in 4 episodes a week. Right.
No, I do 4 episodes a week now. I used to be involved in 8 episodes a week, which was too many.
What are the other 2 that I'm missing? Well, I know Penn Sunday School.
Penn Sunday School used to be 2.
Used to be twice a week. Now it's gone back to 1. And then Ice Cream Social we do 2 a week, and sometimes bonus stuff. And then I do Abracababble, which is once a week.
Abracababble.
And then at one point I was part of Piff's podcast, which was also twice a week. And then that's when it was too much. That's when it was too many.
Right. That's when you're doing podcasting damn near 7 days a week. That's too much podcasting.
No, and then offers would come be like, "Hey, I think we should do a podcast." They'd be like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to say no."
Maybe that's what developed from doing so many fucking podcasts. Is you're like, I learned how to say no.
That is the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned how to politely say "fuck off."
Yeah,
I'm not doing another podcast.
No. My job is, though, in my defense, my secret sauce, and you guys can figure out who is and who's who in this situation. My job, no matter what podcast I'm doing, is to sit down and talk to a lunatic and be the voice of reason as that person expresses their opinions. So, do you think you have that same chemistry?
Not quite that. Joe Beth will sit and listen. Judgmental will sit and listen to me ramble on about whatever the fuck I'm doing around the world.
Yeah.
And he'll just
there's a fair share of episodes where I go off on a wacky tangent, and then you've got to listen to me.
And then it's my turn to listen to Judge talk about lawyers and hypnosis and random issues with airports and all that kind of madness. And we love
this.
it.
Chemistry Analysis is brought to you by the Jokers of Magic, coming to Elkton, Maryland, March 16th. Go to elktonmagic.com and see the funniest magic show you'll ever see, March 16th in Elkton, Maryland.
15th. You'll be in Red Bank on the 16th, but that's okay.
Oh, shoot. 15th. Damn it.
That's okay. Somebody else is taking you to all these places, I assume, right?
That is absolutely true.
This is not going to be a big enough production for Bus and Truck, or is it?
No.
Okay.
No, actually, the whole point of it is to not be a Bus and Truck.
I can only imagine some elements of that, especially as somebody who used to, I don't know, maybe have like half of a carry-on suitcase worth of stuff that I would load in, and now I have a microphone.
You've gone down.
I bring more merch to shows than anything that has to do with my show itself.
Well, you were there with me in Maryland at Dave Thoman's place, where he said, I have more props than Meadow Perry. And that wasn't a compliment. Meadow Perry is a giant bubble artist. And so she brings in all kinds of apparatus to make all kinds of crazy bubbles. And so when he said that to me, he basically was like, I can't believe I'm not home already and you're still cleaning up, is basically what he was saying. And many magicians, friends and foes, love to be like, all my stuff just fits in a carry-on. As if I hadn't thought of that. As if I hadn't thought, shit, I know I can put a deck of cards in my pocket and do enough material from that. I don't think that's what makes audiences go, oh my goodness, I have to see that guy again. So I carry a lot of stuff.
Eventually, do you think you'll have enough money to hire an engineer to make your tricks that you do and love be able to fit in a carry-on?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe. I hope so. But no, I mean, this is what we're attempting here with Jokers of Magic is something that feels like approachable and scalable. It's really, there's a big hustle out there to try to book theaters. And then we tried to go out with the Foolers tour, and that's where we had a truck and a tour bus, and we're playing these big theaters, and we're doing Penn and Teller's magic tricks and things like that. And the marketing just didn't grab people the way we wanted it to, and so and I was looking at how expensive it was to send this out, and so Mike Mills, who produced that show, and when I kind of got the sense that maybe we weren't going to be doing a lot more of these, I just said, hey, I used to basically go out with Pit the Magic Dragon to comedy clubs on the weekends, and it was a blast. It was so fun, and if we sold out shows, we just added another show, and we just went on the weekends and we came home. We checked bags, rented SUVs and from rental car places, and just loaded in with like 8 cases and did a really over-the-top show, a show that felt too big for comedy clubs and stuff. And it was so fun. And I think, I don't want you to spend money on another truck. I don't want you to spend money on another tour bus. It's like, we should just come up with an idea where we can do magic where we fly in and fly out. And I also was really into this idea. I had a conversation with Harrison Greenbaum where I was like, there's alt rock. There's like, we have so many different terms for music and so many different terms for stuff. We don't have different terms for types of magic. I think people are getting a little hip to it because of Fool Us and YouTube and things like that like an illusionist does big illusions, Right. A hypnotist obviously is or mentalist is more obvious, but like I think it's so dumb when people come up to me and like, you're a magician. I go, yeah, make my wife disappear. And you're like, okay.
That's not what I do.
And you're like, yeah, or other people like try to like call out the method of what I'm doing while I'm doing it, or try to like, bust a trick or try to like mess with me. And I want to be like, just wait 10 minutes into my show and you'll understand that I'm not trying to have you leave a theater going, oh my gosh, that guy has magical powers, right? That guy should be working for the CIA or something, right? Or not even like
he's got talent.
Not even a cheesy like, I hope it doesn't go into, hope they don't let him in the casino. Like I do a very comedy forward show that happens to have magic tricks in it, right? And so I thought we could team up with other really funny people and really put the comedy forward. And so, yes, you happen to see impossible stuff, but you will not care. You will not. The thing you'll be talking about in the car is not debating the method of magic. You will be remembering the jokes. That's what's going to happen at the Jokers of Magic.
And that's I love that the Jokers is first, right? Because it's not like the magic of Jokers.
No, we went back and forth a lot on that, and we really were trying to come up with different names. I wanted to call us Slick Tricky Bastards is what I wanted to call us. I thought having a kind of a curse word in there would like imply at least PG-13 and over, rather than trying to like put that out there. And so it's, I think if you see the bio, the Slick and Tricky are in there or whatever. But I wanted like something kind of like that. I wanted like rebellious, kind of
something
whatever.
A little risque, a little like, maybe I don't take my 12-year-old to go see the Jokers of Magic.
And Mike Mills, who's the knows how much things cost, basically felt that the Foolers tour was a little too obtuse of a name, and so he really wanted just an obvious like shot across the bow. There's no mistaking what this is, and so the Jokers of Magic is a perfect name for what we're doing, and I'm very excited about it.
Now, have you performed at all the venues you're performing at now? Have you performed at there before? Or you have any new spots in your roster?
All of them are new except for Red Bank. Nope, Elkton is not new, but we are performing in a new space.
Same town, different room. Yeah.
I actually, when I usually do my end of the year roundup, and I didn't have Elkton on my last year's roundup, and I was like, what went wrong? What happened?
Somebody started doing his own shows on the road and got really fucking busy. Whoops.
No. Like, I can't just call you and ask you to do a show, Joe. But
yes, you can.
I mean, actually, the fact is,
that's what I'm saying.
You actually could. Yeah.
No, I'm just joking that like one of the, Jobeth brought me out very early in my career, and he brought me out every year basically since. And Elkton has always been a great spot to do shows. It's always great audiences, and I've had some of my best shows in Elkton. And so I'm so happy that we're bringing the Jokers of Magic to Elkton, because I'm becoming artistically recharged to fill my battery up right there. And actually, last time I came was to do exactly what we're doing, which is it was the show before Red Bank, because Red Bank, New Jersey, is my hometown. And so last time I basically thought I'd be so nervous doing a show the night before would help me out tremendously, and that's what happened last time.
Elkton Maryland is going to become like your home away from home.
I love it.
Your home away from home.
Yeah. Jobeth knows I have family out there and stuff, and so it's always a good time to get people out there. So yeah, I love it.
Now, you've effectively been a touring musician
Effectively.
Articulation matters. You've been a touring magician for some time now. Does it feel not old hat? That's not the right term, but do you feel like you're a pro at this? You got this. You know what to expect. You know what to do now, or does it still have some of those like first time tour jitters?
Every space always presents different challenges, and every audience you still have to read an audience. I'm always still very nervous before I go out to a show, but I want to be nervous. I want that feeling. You know this, Big Sexy, from doing improv forever, right? Like when you start to do improv and it's the shows where you aren't nervous that tank. It's the shows where you're like, I'll just go out there and do it. And I
tend to get nervous if I'm not nervous.
Right. And that's exactly what I do with improv, and that's what I'll start to do with my magic shows, which is like find a reason to get nervous, and then that helps get the energy up before you go out there. No, I am very excited. I love my show now. Like, I'm very confident in the show I want to bring forward. I really get excited once I'm set and everything's ready to go. And then this show that we've been working on, we've been writing it and trying to put it together to kind of make it more of a cohesive show than a lineup show. Plus, I come from an improv background, so I want games and situations where we can play off of each other and mess with each other. And so I'm about to go to Indiana, and then we're going to build a show in Indiana and do 3 shows in Bloomington, Indiana. And I'm very excited to see what comes out the other end of that Play-Doh Fun Factory And so, I'm excited to bring and nervous to bring all of it too.
Nice. Do you have a favorite trick or element that you're looking forward to introducing to your other players, your other performers? Like, oh man, I do this thing. It's amazing. It's well written. I can't wait for you guys to see it and figure out how we can incorporate it.
Yes. I mean, I have certain tricks that I think have become hits that I'll be doing in the show. But I think more exciting is like what we're going to experiment with. So I hope this is in the show by the time we get to Elkton, but I'll say it here just because I think it's fun to talk about. Is we want to do some kind of version of magic therapy, or AKA for me, tricks that got me fired. And so what we're going to experiment with, because this is what I love about this, is that I want to have one of us go through a trick where something went wrong, and actually go to perform the trick, but we keep all of our mics open. So we'll basically stop, freeze, ask questions, mess with, and bust chops of one of our magicians trying to get through one of their tricks as they get through it, and kind of make it like a big breakdown. And that to me feels like Rat Packy, It feels like, and that's what I want this show to feel like. I want there to be a lot of ball busting, a lot of messing around. And I think, one of the things I love, working with Piff and looking up to Mac is that like none of the comedy comes from making fun of the magic.
Right.
And then for me, like I'm a big ogre of a dude. So I really try to go out of my way to make sure none of the comedy is at the audience's expense, that it's at my expense or whatever. And so having other guys up there to bust balls and mess around with, I feel like even more so, we're not going to be picking on people in the audience that much, but the comedy's going to come from within. And
you got directions to fire at, and easy targets. I mean, you are working with, Eric
Diddleman, Nick DeFat, and Mike Mills.
And Mike Mills.
Right now,
all easy targets.
Nick DeFat is the he makes fun of himself. He dresses like a nerd from military school, and he's currently in Mad Apple, and he's going back to Mad Apple. Like we're literally catching him in between contracts with Mad Apple, which is Cirque du Soleil's show out here at the New York. And he's been a big time comedy magician guy for quite some time. And then Eric Diddleman, who's a really old friend of mine, also improv background.
Right.
And he had a great run on America's Got Talent. Howard Stern loved him and everything. And so we've been busting each other's balls both publicly and privately for a very long time. What's that?
Right. You auditioned for AGT, right?
I technically was on the show.
You technically were on the show.
If you look in the background, I'm floating around behind the scenes of other people from 2 seasons ago.
Yes.
And the only thing I'll just say is you won't find me doing a trick on there. And if I can give any advice to anyone out there starting off in show business, please don't have Sofia Vergara shuffle cards. She will hate you for it. So just so you know, just a little heads up there. Right.
But you do encourage the AGT to professional performance pipeline, as it were.
I mean, maybe this doesn't do what it used to do, right? Matt Franco won, and he's a headliner. There's no doubt about like that pipeline working there. But there's been another magician, Dustin, who won, who didn't come away with a show and didn't come away with a tour. Less people watch all TV altogether, and so less people watching America's Got Talent than ever. And so I feel like at this point, it's just you're doing it to put the credit on your own resume and using it as your own kind of check mark, which works, right? I mean, that's why I went on Fool Us twice, and but basically theaters go like, hey, I want to play your theater, and they go, I don't know, and you send them a YouTube clip that has 2 million views, and they go, oh, great, someone else has vetted this person, and they accomplish what they're supposed to. I believe in that person, so, and it makes them easier to advertise and that kind of stuff. So on that level, it works. But in terms of like any activity being like a kingmaker for comedy or for variety, I don't think it exists anymore. I don't. I think you're like
There's no like Johnny Carson late night talk show esque type of, if you pop on this show or you do this thing, then you're trajectory skyrockets from where it was prior to that.
Yeah, like look at what's happening now. Like what's fascinating is like so it used to be like comedians had a really hard time on those talent shows, right? And so then comedians didn't want to put stuff on social media because they didn't want to burn their material. They didn't want the material out there, and so whatever. And even now, so like even if you go on Fallon or Colbert or Kimmel, like it used to be, if you did something on there, then you couldn't do it anymore. You burned it. And now it's not the case. Like you can go on there and then it doesn't matter. But then comedians started realizing like, hey, for social media, that seems to matter a lot more than going on Kimmel or America's Got Talent. And so they started just doing crowd work and airing their crowd work clips because you're not burning any of your material.
Right.
But now that's caused a whole wave of people doing different types of crowd work shows. And now like people basically now there's this wave of younger comedians that are just doing crowd work because they see it on social media and they think that's what stand-up comedy is, Right. And it was actually just a way to like play the TikTok, Instagram reel game. And now it's becoming a trend instead, So it's interesting. It's a fascinating deal, fascinating time.
Now you were on Fool Us, and I'm assuming by your accoutrement background that you were successful.
Listeners who can't see my background will notice in the sea of things behind me is a Fool Us trophy. I'd never.
If you want to see it, you can become a member of our Patreon and swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com. You get access to the video.
Bull with a butthole?
Bullwiththebutthole.com. Bullwithabutthole.com.
Because when you say it fast, it sounds like you're saying bullet butthole, which sounds like basically a type of bourbon that tastes terrible.
All right, I guess I gotta go to GoDaddy and pick that one up now.
But bullet butthole is also like the scene from Deadpool 1.
Bullet butthole on the rocks. Dash of chocolate bitters, please.
We will have that waiting for you in Elkton, just not in the venue because we're doing that show in a high school. So,
all right. No, that trophy, the Foolish trophy you see behind me, I stole it.
Good. That's the best way to steal one of those.
Yeah. So basically, Allison Hannigan and Brooke Burke, who two people I write for Fool Us, their makeup room is in the same room where we keep all the trophies that we hand to people when they fool Penn and Teller. And one of them fell off at the truck. So here we go.
There you go. Awesome.
I think it's funny that you pointed out. I actually, because all people do is ask you if you fool Penn and Teller, and no one knows. So you can lie to them all the time.
Yeah.
And I always say, sure, when they ask me if I fooled Penn and Teller. Or I say, please save your questions till the end. And then I thought it'd be funny if every Zoom interview I put that trophy in the background, and I do. And you're the first hosts to ever point out the fact that there's a Foolish trophy behind me, and I didn't fool Penn and Teller. So congratulations.
I think that's mainly because so of the three people in this interview, two of us have actually been on Fool Us with Penn and Teller.
Correct. That's correct.
And our listeners already know who the one who hasn't, who should have been by now.
My sales have moved in a different direction. So at this point in time, and please, because you use your Fool Us videos to book gigs and promote shows and get out there, and they get used to promote you in those.
Wait. Before Big Sexy backs you into a corner to defend yourself, Big Sexy was on Fool Us as an audience volunteer.
Oh, I know that. I pointed it out to him.
I want to make that clear to your audience.
Yeah.
During the COVID years, we had to recruit people to be on the show. And so I was the local. So I got all my friends on that year because I knew all of them could show up and take a COVID test and be volunteers. And that's only because originally we were using crew. And our crew were so shitty on TV that we suddenly panicked and realized we had to recruit people to get on the show because our crew did not react they'd already done 7 seasons of reacting to magicians. Our crew didn't give a shit when a magic trick worked.
Right.
These amazing things would happen, and they'd be like, "Okay, can I get back over, put my headset back on, and stop doing this? Great, thank you so much."
There is probably, though, and this is where the utility of being on Fool Us has me kind of in a weird spot. Like, if it gets renewed for another season or whatnot, obviously I'm going to be like, should I put something together? What can I do? I'll probably call RJ and be like, come on, let's get some ideas together. But my big impediment now mentally is, how much do people expect you to perform the things that you did on that show? Because I won't be doing that.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at that, but one is, the answer to your last question is no. People don't expect you to do everything they see on TV when you do it live, unless they explicitly say it. Like, if you're talking to them and they're like, "Oh my God, I just love what you did so much, and please, whatever." Like, for example, I have not done. I got a last trick I did on Fool Us was T-shirt cannon trick, and that's because at the time, no one had a shot at a presidential candidate in a very long time.
Right.
But after someone shot at a presidential candidate, it really ruined my intro to that trick. And yes, I could come up with alternative ways to do it, but it really kind of took the joy out of that trick for me.
They do that on purpose, by the way, to fuck up your trick, though.
I think they did that on purpose for other reasons, but that's just a different podcast.
No one doubts the on purpose part, for sure. We can debate the purpose part, but I haven't done it since. And there'll be a time to do it, but I don't think it's soon. And so I haven't done it. I've taken it out of my hunk.
I'm trying to imagine you trying to get that passed on a cruise ship.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't even. Yeah,
it's just a nightmare that would be. You want to bring what on the ship?
Oh no, that part. They'll I mean, it's a T-shirt.
Oh, they have people bring in like Jaws of Death, and I think some of these cruise ships, bigger ones, have even like, the big Cirque style Wheel of Death.
Yeah.
Not every ship, of course, but the big ones have shit like that on there.
Yeah, no, I could get a T-shirt cannon on no problem. I just don't know. It's just right now, I pride myself on not bringing anything political into my shows. I just want my show to be a timeout. We are assaulted with news and division all day long. And for a comedy magic show, let's give people just an hour and a half break from that.
Yeah, we try to steer away from politics here, and that's how inundated we are. It still finds its way to creep in the fucking conversation. Even when you like,
the intro I did for T-shirt cannon was towing a line anyway. I mean, I make a joke about an active shooter and then bring out a T-shirt cannon as the release to that. But that tension point is a tension point, and so most of the time I got through it no problem. But a few people were like, "Did you really say the words active shooter in your intro?" And it's like, yeah, just because it makes bringing in a T-shirt cannon funnier. But I understood if someone was like, "That's not cool." And look, when you're doing comedy, someone's just not for everybody, and I don't want to overly defend it. And
no thoughts about doing that at the school show in Elkton?
I will not be doing.
Okay.
No.
You'll get 6 or 8 people to join you on stage with their own guns in Elkton.
Well, that's it. That's the other thing, right? Like, that's the other thing. It's just a matter of like, it's just that it enters. That trick was not entering the political arena, and now it is. And so, I don't think it's like that drastic. I don't think people would write complaint letters. I don't think would do whatever. It just doesn't fit now in what I want to do with my shows. And so, one day I think it will come back and be okay. But
have you reached the point in your career where you're getting letters from disgruntled audience members?
No, nope, not famous enough.
One of them tried to marry him in Elkton.
Weird. I mean, look, everybody does anything and encounter some weirdos. But no, YouTube comments are the only thing I've gotten crap for, but it's YouTube, so it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
My first appearance on Fool Us, I had the volunteer pinch Teller's butt, and that bothered some people.
Did it bother Penn?
Didn't bother Penn, Teller, or the audience volunteer, or me, or everyone in the theater, or the majority of people who watch the clip. But it does affect some people.
There's a couple. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, look, at least you're not Rachel Wax, right?
What happened to her?
On YouTube?
Oh no!
Came up
I
in
don't
one
know
of
about
your
this.
interviews.
What?
Somebody you were talking about, and then she mentioned one of the YouTube comments that she got.
Sorry. Okay, good.
Let's just
I think
say
you're talking about
very
controversy.
Very attracted to her legs.
Yes. Sorry. Now we're back on the same page. I thought the way you phrased that, I thought I got her in trouble and that she was in the middle of some controversy.
Oh no.
No, people say, I mean, everything's better being a man in show business than a woman. So yeah. She gets the weirdest, rudest, and grossest comments. Yeah. No, yeah. I'll say this: I'm not objectified. my 46-year-old ass, either in overalls or a tuxedo. I don't get really objectified too much.
That you know about. I'm sure there are cougars in the audience looking a little like, that's a scrumptious mind.
Look, the worst I have to deal with is, and this is just a train running through my brain all the time when I'm on stage, is can the camera see both of my hands? that is now in, and I've had no issues with this or nothing like that, and it's part of how I was trained as far as not only safety, ethics, but the perception of the two as well. Is if you are anywhere near a person on your stage, can the camera see both of your hands? Because I've got people in a very vulnerable position 80% of the time.
And you want to feel like you're pitching their butts?
Or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, even just like all of
to be fair though, Judge, you could tell them to give them a suggestion that even with your hands up like this and your hands up by your face, they still feel you pinched your butt.
There you go.
Oh, I sure can.
Yeah. And then,
I think
at least they get the experience of it.
I think that is harder for a hypnotist. Like, of course, every position, every occupation can have a creepy version of it or whatever. But I think hypnotist is like probably like right away, you have to disprove you're not a creep, right?
Right away.
I would say that it is the easier place, knowing nothing about who the artist is, for somebody's mind to start traveling into, what things could this person do with, like. It's what are you going to do with a magician? Be like, if he can make that card disappear from there and reappear there, what else can he make go where? Like, that's about it, Like, but there's definitely my training very much began with a version of with great power comes great responsibility type of day and a half of safety and ethics as we're learning all of the.
It took you guys a day and a half to watch Spider-Man?
Yeah. We broke it down. I mean, look, we watched every single movie, okay?
You got to get all the different iterations of that fucking quote. Make sure they all fit appropriately. Yeah. Do you have any do you have any dreams of being a headliner like say Matt Franco or a Penn and Teller, Copperfield?
Look, on some level, of course I do, but Vegas is going through a significant sea change right now. I don't know how many more headliners there are going to be in that way for a while. I mean, I think Colin Cloud and David Blaine might be the last ones in there.
At least until you start learning how to DJ.
No, I mean, even Colin Cloud, he's in like a little bit of more of a reduced term than when he was sharing the stage with Shin Lim, who's also just moved over to the Palazzo. And Shin Lim sells very well. Shin Lim is definitely like a younger generation's magician. He's super famous, especially the young people. And so that part's good. But Las Vegas as a whole is really we built so many stadiums, and the Sphere, and post pandemic, it really hasn't. The international families booking themselves for a week here just has never really returned. It's very much now an American weekend city, Thursday through Sunday kind of thing. You're seeing all kinds of shows adjust to that. And I think, the majority of your headliners, your Matt Francos and Penn and Tellers, David Copperfield, Cirque du Soleil's, are competing with not the Sphere. People are coming to town for that. People are coming to town for these higher end, big time concert semi residencies. They do 10 to 30 concerts a year kind of thing. And there's enough of those, enough tours now coming. Used to be you couldn't tour here because the headliners took up all the space for advertising. Now all these headliners have been here for a minute, so their advertising is not as impactful. And we built stadiums for people like the Rolling Stones and Billy Joel and Sting and people that come in. And so Taylor Swift, BTS, these people really are creating tentpole events every weekend. And so now your headlining shows are competing with restaurants and comedy clubs and other things like that, of what's the second thing I'm going to do before I leave town.
Right.
And so because of that, for someone like me to try to do my own show and think I can get effective advertising in butts and seats, feels like a very tall order right now. I think it'd be cooler if I was I would love to perform in Vegas instead of traveling all the time because I have children. But I think I'd have to be part of some kind of experience, some kind of speakeasy, something cocktail thing where you get X, Y, and Z entertainment included in this cool thing. Which is those have been popping up all over the place. They just turned Cleopatra's Barge in Caesars into a speakeasy called Caspian's, which looks pretty cool. I went inside the other day.
Interesting.
So Mandalay Bay is a speakeasy. Bally's has one, or Horseshoe rather. So it's you're trying to create this cool exclusive thing where people are part of a smaller group be up close to something cooler. I feel like I could be a part of something like that, and that's what I would love. That's what I would try to do if someone tried to work with me on something. But no, I don't think I could just try to be this casino's blank magician.
Gotcha.
I think that era is at least coming to a close in this iteration, and won't come back until it's different.
I wonder if there will be something like the Jokers of Magic, or a ensemble showcase where it's not just one headliner. I think of like the short run of Freestyle Love Supreme, right? Where an ensemble piece comes in a location, and it's much more the experience of it instead of come see this person.
It's hard. It's hard to figure that out. It's hard to figure out where the line is. And if it's just going to a theater, I don't know if that's where the line is, because Freestyle Love Supreme was filled with brilliant people. And I feel like they failed to showcase the talent that was going to be there all the time, instead of having waves of whether Lin-Manuel Miranda or Wayne Brady was going to show up.
That part, is that leaning into the celebrity, but the show
they had two beatbox champions in that show,
right?
Two people who were top of the line beatboxers, and one of them was a white woman, right? So I feel like if they if they found a way to showcase the exclusivity of the talent, the top line of the talent they had in that show outside of the celebrity factor, I think it would have done better than it did in Las Vegas. But that's just me. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So it's important if you've got, you mentioned the swap out with either Wayne or Lin-Manuel Miranda. People want, in New York, people know that, hey, this is the main cast, and then occasionally there's going to be swap outs or whatever. But when you're going to a destination for a thing and there's somebody on that poster, a lot of people expect that, because there was, the Hip Prov show that Colin Mockery is a part of. That thing crashed and burned in Vegas in a minute, because when they first launched it, Colin wasn't there.
Yeah.
And people, that was 80% of the negativity in the reviews. 45-minute induction was part of it too, but it just and again, I never saw the show there. I just read reviews and things like that, and I was like, oof. That's
No, man.
rough.
I mean, like your hypnotism shows that people are around. Like Kevin's been running for a really long time here.
Yeah.
Kevin Lapine. He's a great show at the Four Queens. But those guys are downtown, and other people, Mark Savard here forever. When Mark Savard broke down to the improv show that we did, Big Sexy, the Aussie Improv Explosion,
Yes.
when Mark broke down what it took to get butts and seats for that show at the Miracle Mile shops, it was insane. It was an
Yeah.
insane amount of hustle to do it. You know, I think like if the Jokers of Magic, I love doing shows anywhere, right? I just love serving the people. I like doing the shows for the people, and so I happen to live in Las Vegas, so if I could work here, that'd be great. But I don't think it's happening tomorrow. It's okay, if the Jokers of Magic were over at some casino, it's like I always said, like you've flown to Vegas. Picture landing on the plane. Picture looking to your left and your right, and think, who wants to go see the Jokers of Magic at blank casino? If they're advertised to it. I think the answer is more than zero, but I don't know. When Paul and I were doing improv all the time here in town, Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social, great podcast, check it out.
Our podcast.
We actually took Glenn out to lunch, which is Penn and Teller's manager, to be like, how do we get people to just make people interested in putting us out there? Like we're affordable to put up. We're local hires. We just want to play. And Glenn just said, look, this is a town driven by headliners and celebrities. It's like people pay a lot of money to see Wayne Brady do improv, but they also pay a lot of money to see Wayne Brady just sing, or Wayne Brady do Q&A, or Wayne Brady read poetry, right? They just want to hang out with the guy. They just want to be in the room with the guy, And so it basically is like, unless you can make people curious about who you are as people, as improvisers, you're not going to get butts and seats, because people don't come around going like, I hope I can see a good improv show. It's just not what they're looking to do. People want to spend time with. They want to go home and brag about what they've done, right?
So that's your master plan. We finally uncracked the code here, Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Matt Donnelly got into magic and will ride the coattails of famous magicians to become his own famous magician, so that he can backtrack into his old improv shows. When people go, oh, it's the famous Matt Donnelly, the famous magic mind noodler doing improv, I need to go see that. Genius.
It's not that's not far off. I will do improv the rest of my life in one form or another. So yeah, I still love improv. Look, when we were touring with Poolers, we were loading to a theater in Louisville, and we're doing one-nighters. We're always loading in and loading out our stuff every night. We're loading into Louisville, and Vinny Grasso turned to me in the middle, like we're putting up all this stuff so we can do black art in the theater and all this other stuff. And he goes, "You'd trade this all in a second if you just be playing here with Paul, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd trade it all in." Look, I did. I turned to magic out of desperate. I was desperate to do something, and Penn Jillette messed with me and invested in me, and when I said, "Hey, I'm doing an improv show," people weren't coming to see me anymore. And if I said, "Hey, I'm doing a magic show," people were coming. That's right. It.
That's it.
And
look, I'm out here traveling the world, making international connections and teaching a bunch of people how to play mahjong, just so eventually I can go back maybe to Vegas and headline an improv show. And that puts butts in seats, because here comes the international Big Sexy Toastmaster winner and all the other things, all the accolades that I'm out here getting, just so that I get the chance to play on stage doing what I love to do. And have bring people out. I mean, I can still do that, but I want I want butts and seats to see it.
It's the dream, man. I mean, look, we grew up idolizing Robin Williams, right? And Robin Williams was so funny and improvisational. And if he showed up anywhere, they would give him the stage, right?
Right.
And like that's what I had to admit after a while that I was chasing. As I went to performing arts high school and went to college for a whole year and a half, trying to be an actor in New York and everything else. And the idea of being an actor and a sitcom actor, which is what I was focusing on, was only so that I'd be famous enough to be able to do improv everywhere,
Right.
and that was the dream, and I'm very thankful that world famous magicians unfurled their coattails to me, and I still get to be funny all around the country all the time, and I still get to make people laugh, and I do a whole lot of improvising in my show. I saw other magic acts that say I'm an improv guy and I do magic tricks, and then I saw them just do like really weird crowd work in a birthday party show. And so I was like, oh, that's not it. That's the hard part, right? This is where like I try, I'm very new to magic. I try to keep my head down. I very much admit to riding the coattails of famous magicians. But when it comes to anytime another magician says, oh, I do improv too, that's where I go like, right. But no, I've really been at it. Like I've really been at it.
Yeah. There's a thing about, improvising things and actually doing improv.
Yeah. And even like, if you took improv for 4 years and got on a house team and did a couple of years of shows, I get you. I get that flex. I get it. I just been doing a whole lot more than that. That's all.
Right.
That's it. But
yeah.
So you just wrapped up doing what? Was it 10 total, 12 total weeks on ships?
I did 11 weeks over 5 months on the Sun Princess cruise ship with a kind of magic hidden speakeasy experience called Spellbound that was co-created by the Magic Castle for Sun Princess cruises. Yeah.
So I don't even want to ask about that. I want to ask about the travel and the experience. Favorite port of call, favorite destination that you visited on that 5-month journey?
Well, I mean, personally, years ago, when I was trying to make it as an improviser and failing, one of the many times I failed, I got depressed and I moved to an island for a while, and I went to St. John for a year. So my favorite port of call is when I went to St. Thomas and got on a cab and went over, took a ferry, and spent the afternoon in St. John, being back at the place that I lived in 24 years ago. Ugh, wow. Can't believe I can say those words. That was a trip. Cozumel is a super fun stop.
That's where we met up. Shout out to Cozumel.
That's right. That's a super fun one. Turks and Caicos is the most chill, like the most like idyllic, beautiful beaches. You just walk out and it's just a cartoon, like where you draw like a single palm tree on an island kind of thing. Like it's just beautiful, beautiful beaches and just very relaxed and super chill.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any recommendations of places to go there? Just like go to the beach. I'm only asking because
if you end up in Grand Turk on a cruise, Turks and Caicos, there's a hotel called the Osprey Hotel, and it's and it has like a little pool built into it, and it opens up like this. It's almost like designed out of like Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. So you kind of walk in this old ass hotel where it opens up, and then you're right on the beach, and there's really good food, and it's like a really just chill place to hang out, but it feels like it has a little bit of action. There's not a lot of places that feel like they have action in Turks and Caicos. It's pretty like there's a thing to go downtown and there's like 2 food trucks and like a tchotchke, shop that sells t-shirts. Don't do the downtown.
So a little context to that culture. One of the local beers in Turks and Caicos is called I Soon Reach. And it is totally I'll get there when I get there. And that is the mentality. That is the gear that the locals are in, as has been explained to me by many, many people who have served me quite a few of those beverages.
I remember I took a little tour, and the guy on the tour was like, every hurricane that has hit Grand Turk in the last 100 years is either Category 4 or Category 5. And no, we've never lost a single life. No one's ever died during a hurricane here in Grand Turk. And I just turned to the people I was on the tour with, and I said, gosh, neither of those can be true, right? Neither one of those facts can be true. That just can't be true. There's no way that a Category 2 or 3 hurricane never hit the island. And there's no way there just hasn't been like one death related to a century of hurricane-ravaged island. That just can't. I don't believe it.
Yeah. way to boost up the sales guy. No, that's not.
It's like, what's the takeaway there? You guys are hurricane proof? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
Are you selling timeshares? Like, where's this going?
Nobody actually lives here. I mean, what are you talking about?
There's just so many ways where I'm like, no way. I object. I yelled from the back of the store.
Prove it.
But yeah, so yeah, you can travel that thing by golf cart. You can rent a golf cart and you travel basically the whole island by golf cart. It's pretty great.
Okay, cool. We're going there for the wife's 50th next month, actually.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's in less than a month. God damn it.
I really liked Roatan. Honduras is really cool. Yeah, I liked them all. I liked all the spots. I tried to take them as best I could, but I was also there to make money, so I didn't want to spend too much.
Yeah, and now have you finally adjusted to being back on land? Because I know it can take a while for sea legs to go away.
It's so bizarre. All of the things that people ask me about with that, I experienced the first time I went out, and not since. So I got seasickness the first time I went out, and when I came back, when I was indoors, I felt like I was on a rocking boat. And then neither happened in all the trips out since. So it's been super fine. Or whatever. Yeah. I was very lucky to do the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off thing. So I was always kind of readjusting no matter what.
Any thoughts about getting back out? Specifically, our sponsors over at cruisehabit.com have asked if you're going to be doing that around Thanksgiving, because our friend Billy Hirsch does stuff, and wanted me to ask you directly if you would be on a ship around Thanksgiving so he can make those arrangements.
Cruisehabit.com, bitches.
I right now, so the Princess Company is so happy with the Sun Princess that they Xeroxed it, and they're building an almost identical ship called the Star Princess. Okay. And the Star Princess will also have a Spellbound experience in it. And as of right now, it's not confirmed, but I was check-availed for the first week in November that the Star Princess will be in the United States.
Nice.
So that's the case there.
I'll pass that. I said I'll pass it along, but he listened, so he heard you.
Okay. And Princess is also going to try me the last week of May that goes into June, May 30th through the June 4th, I think. I'll be going out on the Island Princess from New York to Aruba, and that will be them trying me out on the main stage outside of Spellbound for the first time. Okay, and if that goes well, I will be doing more Princess cruise lines on their main stage, different ships and different locations.
International headliner.
What's just funny is before I ever did a cruise ship, right? Anytime any magician put international blank in their bio, I would just say cruise ship. And now I am one of those magicians. So there you go.
You are one of the magicians. Yeah. Now you know why. Yeah, because you don't got to do what I did and come all the way to another country and perform here. In order to be international, you just hop on international waters and call yourself international.
When you're on there, cruisers are most like the culture of cruising and culture of people who are cruisers, so to speak. It's super strong. A lot of people just it's a great fixed income. If you're on any kind of fixed income deal, it's just a great way to organize your travel. And so I can see why it's a very popular thing to do for people who finally empty nesters, etc. And so, but with it, like you get reviewed on ships by everyone, right? You can rank you all these different things, and everyone in your department is judged on your scores, right? So everyone who's a bartender and a waiter and a host and all that kind of stuff, they're all part of that experience. And so what was a little nerve-wracking, not a lot, but it was just like I like to mess around, right? And so if I messed too hard with an audience member, if they took it the wrong way, it could affect the promotions and or amount of days off my entire crew would get, right? And so that made me a little more timid on the cruise ship. So finishing up 5 months of that work, knowing that I was heading into the Jokers of Magic and working with 3 more comedians in a comedy forward environment and playing cool intimate theaters in different cities was a really, really cool thing to come back to land to. Like I'm so excited to get back out and be full throated with my comedy.
You can stop edging now and get right into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
go ahead
so,
and put that full load now.
yeah. But
so before we kick out, let's talk about more. Let's run the gamut of all the Jokers of Magic, because we've got listeners all over the place. Not quite the reach that you guys have, but they're everywhere. Not just.
Okay, I'll tell you, if it sells 2 more tickets in each city, let's do it.
Yeah.
So March 7th and 8th, I am in Bloomington, Indiana, and then after that, we're up to Concord, New Hampshire. And then I have it on my phone, so I'm going to take a minute and get it on my phone. That's why I stopped trying to stall awkwardly, because I figure if I leave a long awkward pause, you'll edit it out.
I was just going to Diddleman's website to get the
March
link.
7th and 8th. Got them up. March 7th and 8th, I'm at the Constellation Theater in Bloomington, Indiana. That'll be 3 shows total, and we're actually going to be trying like different versions of the show during that time to kind of figure out what we're taking on the road. So we'll be making all kinds of weird adjustments from show to show. So come to all 3. And then March 13th, I'll be at the Rex in Manchester, New Hampshire. Very excited about that. March 14th, I'll be at the Sugarloaf Performing Arts Center in Sugarloaf, New York. And then March 15th, Elkton, Maryland. And March 16th, the Vogel, Redback, New Jersey. That's my hometown. It will sell out. So if you're thinking about going, buy tickets fast.
Yeah, if you're one of our listeners in that area, buy tickets and get tickets now, because that's going to sell out. Tickets are available now, yes.
Look, I sold out the Vogel. I ended up doing 2 shows of the Vogel last time I went to Red Bank. So if it doesn't sell out this time, we know whose fault it is, not mine. I did my part.
You did your part.
Yeah. But no. It is actually going to sell out. So
we'll blame Eric Gittleman.
Yeah.
Only because I know of the 4 performers, he's the one that I know.
Well, this is it. Get out here and see those shows. This is a test run. There's no, I don't want to hide anything about it. This is a test run to see if a comedy forward collection of magicians works as a marketing and audience pleaser. And so this is what these shows are going to do, and hopefully it goes well, and we'll be doing it all over the country at different times of the year. But for now, this is what it's going to be. So I'm going to enjoy it. I think the show's going to kick ass. I think it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
I am hopeful that it works so well that, again, this becomes acknowledged as you said earlier, a genre of magic,
right?
That's much more in the forefront, and then you guys are like the not necessarily the founding fathers, but definitely, on the Mount Rushmore, as it were, of this genre, right? When I want all 4 of you and Harrison Greenbaum to be the top 5 listed.
Yeah.
In that genre.
Well, Harrison will tell you should be first. But
you say that, but I'm not gonna.
I love Harrison. I have a good feeling I'll be working with Harrison one way or another. I come from an improv background. I love working with ensemble, and so even with the Foolers, when all 4 were on stage, I would mess around with them, and I would warn them because they weren't improvisers. I'd be like, "I'm going off script during this part tonight, just so as you know, and I'll bring it back around to this part so you can pick back up the script when you need to."
So this question just hit me, and as usual, we have these little nuggets at the very end of this type of interview. So listeners, you should always stay to the very end. Mm-hmm. Have you tried to get Paul Madeley involved in magic so that you guys could work together in that space as well?
No, he was part of my original show, and if my original show took off, he certainly would have been a part of it. Paul is, he's just a different lifestyle guy, and so
also house husbands. Just say it.
Well, magic doesn't call to him, and magic doesn't call to a lot of people, right? It's just, he's I've been around him, and he's shown not a lot of real interest. He's the warm-up comic for Fool Us, so he sees every Fool Us taping, and so
So he's in the sphere. He's just not, it just hasn't called to him. He hasn't go, I want to learn how to do X amount of tricks.
There's a type of magic act called a code act, and I thought Paul and I could do one of those really well. And in fact, in the original, my original show, we did do one where he was a giant chicken and would know things from the audience and stuff. And we would basically, and he and I have done he and I, when we play this game, Interrogation, where someone leaves the room and they have to come back and try to figure out how to confess to a crime and they don't know all the details of it.
Mhm.
I've had magicians ask me if that was a code act that we were doing when we were doing it. And that's just because Paul and I are that connected as improv people. And so I think if I were simply to be famous enough to do shows that I could headline, I would just bring Paul in to improvise. You know, I wouldn't make him learn magic. I would just make improv part of my show.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's that. And I think the audience would love it. You know, I think if we took a break from magic and did, you know, the Spanish job song and a couple of improv games and then went back to magic, I think they would get a huge kick out of it. So look, man, I just saw Ben Schwartz do straight up regular old Harold Knight long form with 3 friends at the Cosmopolitan in front of 2,000 people. So,
Right.
you know,
It's doable.
when the audience, you know, if the audience is there, they get it. You know, it's not a hard sell to do improv for them, and so it's impressive. So you know, that's how I would as soon as I can, and if I can ever do shows with Paul, the answer is yes. I want to do shows with Paul.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We still need to do somehow one of these years coordinate him coming down here while you're performing in Elkton and do an improv show, even if it's at the small. Well, it should probably be at the smaller. The showcase location.
Yeah, I think that'd be a blast.
Okay, so here's what has to happen. So I'll be in Philadelphia in August.
Okay.
Okay, so we got to get you to Philadelphia in August,
Doable.
and Paul to Philadelphia in August.
I'll check with his dogs.
Yeah, and we'll do a. There'll be some magic. And George, of course, is there, so there'll be a magic show and then an improvised bucket show because I want to play with you guys again. I miss it, and it'll be a pre-Scoop Fest promotion and hangout for that town.
Yeah,
I think that'll be amazing. I'll get started on the logistics.
Where are you in September?
So in September, I'm planning to be on Scoop Fest at Scoop Fest. Hosting the karaoke, and this time doing it the way it's supposed to fucking be done with my own goddamn laptop, no password needed.
Let's focus on the improv. We'll see how much karaoke we did no karaoke at the last Scoop Fest.
And that broke my heart. It's a shame.
We got 0 complaints, buddy. No one said, "Where's the karaoke?"
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to file my complaint.
We just keep adding more and more stuff to it that like But first we had karaoke to fill in the gap, you know.
Right.
But now there's no gaps.
Now there's no gaps. Fair.
But we're going to I think we're going to incorporate a lot more improv into this Scoop Fest. So if you're there,
one of these days we need to do our version of like the hip prov show where I get people up, get them where they need to be, and then you guys take over. And I think that the Scoops would get an absolute kick out of that.
And see, the funny thing, you keep saying hip-prov, and it took me a minute to realize you meant hypnosis and improv.
Get out of here. It took you that long to figure it out?
Because it sounded like to me like hip-hop and improv. Right? Because we just been talking about freestyle love supreme.
That can be done too, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get because the hip, I'm so old that it wasn't hypnosis, it was hip-hop.
I'm not wrapping my head around hypnotizing Scoops at Scoop Fest is not my favorite idea. I'm just going to say it that way.
Okay.
But you know what? I should put that out on Ice Cream Social, and if I'm wrong,
the people will let you know.
Because we're a division of Penn Sunday School, and a lot of us just came over that way, and the skeptical community is not really that into hypnosis. It makes me feel like we're walking a line there. Or the risk of something embarrassing happening to someone and that ruining their Scoop Fest, that kind of thing is the kind of thing that so I'm saying everything out loud.
I mean, let's be fair. That risk exists without hypnosis.
Agreed. No, agreed. Like, look, our jobs are always like, last year, my only takeaway for myself was there was not enough Paul involved in Scoop Fest. Gotcha. Paul did some stuff here and there, but there's not, and Paul is the funniest man on earth. And
He
so
really is.
that's why we decided to switch up. Instead of doing trivia contests between podcasts, we're doing a trivia contest against every podcast.
Yeah, so we gotta get Judge out here in Mia, so then we can do that. So Big Sexy Digital Nomad also competes against ICS.
I hope we'll get you on the list. We'll see how it goes. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
But I like it. I like it. But that's the thing is like that's so we just want to create the most comedy and the most fun without risking putting people on the spot kind of thing. So I've said it all out. I should say it all out loud on Ice Cream Social and then see how what the audience says.
cool deal.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I'm not 100% sure that I could make this year's happen. I'm working on it, but if the idea is out there and there's not a big, pitchforks and whatever they do down in Charlottesville, then maybe we'll push it to the next year. We'll figure it out.
Be torches.
Yeah, torches. That's it.
I hope there's not another Charlottesville during Scoop Fest. Yes, that part's true for sure. But
Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have we listed all the things for Jokers of Magic? Because that's the most important thing that we need to make sure to promote.
Yeah, well, that's specific is for Joe Beth is March 15th. Elton,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yes,
Let's
that's
get
going to be
everybody back out
exciting.
there.
Appreciate it. And of course, listeners, as we mentioned earlier, if you want to see the Foolish Trophy, you want to see what it actually looks like in person, swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join our Patreon over there. I don't know how Jacob does this shit so fast because he's not using he bounces between whatever. And there's no video elements. It's just all audio. Oh, there it is. Fullest Trophy up front. That's what it looks like when you're a talented and skilled magician.
And when you win, your name goes right here. You'll see that it's blank.
Right. You got to get a Sharpie. You need to get a Sharpie and just write in my Noodler.
There we go.
Yeah, so swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and subscribe today. Also, listeners, if you want to get your Big Sexy Digital Nomad merch, like I'm wearing today, Where in the World is Big Sexy? Swing on over to Where is Big Sexy, but that's where, like you're putting on clothes, is bigsexy.com. You can pick that stuff up there. Shoot us an email if you have any questions for Matt Donnelly or ourselves. Swing on over to bigsexynomad@gmail.com. You can hit us up there. We appreciate it. And this will drop out. If you all of a sudden say, fuck, I want to do a cruise, sounds amazing. We got Nilla's 50th birthday cruise. You can swing on over to gowithlisa.com/bigsexy. Yeah. Join us on the cruise over there. And we would love to have you with us 100%. All right, Elton, you got any shows that people need to go over to eltonmagic.com to book?
Yes.
Yeah. Jokers of Magic.
We just talked about it. Of course we did. Yes.
Yeah. Jokers of Magic in April. We've got Christopher Carter, who is a mentalist who legit, when he was here a year and a half ago, had people falling out of their seats.
That guy's a monster.
He is
just destroys.
Incredible. Yeah, you ran into him on the ship one time.
Yes, and I saw his show. I couldn't believe it.
He is top notch, 10 out of 10. That's
literally people like shoved people in front of them when he's just walking around the cruise ship. They were like, and like put people in front of them because he just gets his mind reading routines are so powerful. He is great.
Yeah.
So be sure to check all that out at eltonmagic.com. Appreciate it. Matt, thank you again for being a guest.
Thanks, guys.
So happy to have you. Can't wait to see you out again in the wild, wherever it may be. And in the meantime,
safe travels.
Safe travels.